Hello, welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So, this is technically kind of old news. I mean, well, it's like 3 days old now, so yeah, you could say kind of old news. But I really like this. This is one of the only good bits of news about Disney Plus and the Marvel shows. Like, I'm not interested in them in the slightest, but this actually does have me interested. Those that are long-term subscribers here on the channel with your notifications turned on, side note, turn them on, flick them onto all, because YouTube doesn't notify you at the best of times. Anyway, we'll know that I've reviewed a few of these, or I've spoken about these guys a few times. I reviewed their movie, The Endless. It's a really good film. It is spot on. It's a great film. And on various live streams and things like that, I've spoken about another movie of theirs called Spring, which is like a Lovecraftian love story. It's really, like, they really think outside the box. So I'm really, like, this actually makes me excited. Now, I don't know how much autonomy they're going to get. Let's be honest, probably not that much. They are independent normally. They are newbies, I guess, even though they've released a few movies now that have been very well received. They're really good guys. So basically, Marvel's Moon Knight has Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead on board as directors. And then they've also confirmed that Oscar Isaacs is going to be in the role as well, which is all completely confirmed now. But these are the people that make me excited. It's when that Marvel has long been known to do very much paint by numbers stuff, right? They had very much a sort of a paint by numbers format for their movies. They seem to sort of dissipate away from that a little bit, but no doubt they still have something like that. But we don't know what they're doing with the series yet. That is out in the open. You know, who knows? It's just like, it's an open field. It could go anywhere. And them getting these guys on board indicates to me, at the very least, there's a possibility of it going in a good direction. Because these guys are really, really decent. And it's not... I think what's important to remember about these chaps is that they think completely outside the box, but it's not just that. It's also in their directing style. It's in their editing style. It's how they colour their work. Everything that they've done so far, Spring and The Endless, has a really rich tone to it. It all looks just so... It's very unique. Let's put it that way. And them being lovers of Lovecraft, I think bodes really well for Moon Knight. I think it bodes really well for Moon Knight, actually. Now, let's get into this article. I'll leave it linked down below. They're a little bit weird with how they've sort of approached it on this. Now, this is The Hollywood Reporter, right? And they say, you know, Oscar Isaacs is starring in the series featuring Marvel's cult favourite. So, Moon Knight. Marvel Studios' Moon Knight series has snagged additional directors. Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, indie genre filmmakers behind, they say, sci-fi horror movies. The Endless is not a sci-fi horror movie. Hollywood Reporter, like, you really don't know what you're talking about if you think that The Endless is a horror sci-fi, because it's not. It's not remotely horror sci-fi. It's a Lovecraftian horror film. And even then, like, there's very little horror in it. It's very much Lovecraftian. It's not like an out-and-out, you know, very generic-based horror film. That's not the point of it. And they actually also starred in that film, which I think is one of the potentially the most sort of surprising elements of it anyway, is the fact that they did actually star in it, which I think is great. And they all did a sort of a fantastic job anyway. But then they obviously did Synchronic, which I have yet to review. I'm going to be reviewing it here on the channel. But they will be joining Mohamed Diab, the Egyptian filmmaker behind Middle Eastern drama Clash, as directors of the series that will star Oscar Isaac. So it is a shame that they're not headlining it, but normally the first director sets the tone. So I don't know who the initial director is, because they set the aesthetic, they set the tone, and then every other director, generally speaking on series, replicates it. That's always what happens on series, ladies and gents. And then obviously it will star Oscar Isaac. Now, Diab is directing a sizable chunk of the episodes. Umbrella Academy's Jeremy Slater is leading the writer's room. And it is understood that Benson and Moorhead will direct several episodes. So that's a shame. And this is where my hope starts to dissipate slightly. just because I don't know Diab's work, so I can't say whether that's exciting or not. I just simply don't know. But Moon Knight is, of course, one of Marvel's cult characters who has had several different takes since his debut in '75. Werewolf by Night, he is Mark Spector, an ex-marine turned mercenary whose multiple alter egos allow him to better fight crime. These alternate personas include cabbie Jake, Lockley, and millionaire playboy Stephen Graham. Now, in the later comics, he was established as being a conduit for the Egyptian moon god Khonshu, while recently he was a consultant who dresses in all white and goes by the name Mr. Knight. Most writers who have tackled Moon Knight in recent years have depicted him as a character with multiple personalities and a fractured mental state. It leaves itself open for really something great, something really fun. But it, again, remains to be seen how that's going to go, let's be honest. So anyway, this goes on, says further, and says that the show is expected to begin shooting in Budapest starting in March. A lot of stuff is shooting over in Budapest at the moment. Massive stuff is actually shooting over there. Their film business is booming. Now, Benson and Moorhead, who sometimes do all the lifting on their movies, from writing to acting to directing and producing to shooting and editing, earned raves and a following on the film festival circuit for low-budget horror movies, beginning with 2013's Resolution, which actually the Endless sort of follows. It's like a semi-sequel. So if you want to check any of their stuff out, watch Resolution and then watch the Endless. And then if you like their stuff, watch Spring, but be open-minded with Spring, just as a heads up. Because it is like it's a Lovecraftian love story, so you have to be a little bit soppy to like it. Their 2014 movie Spring premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival and made Del Toro a fan of theirs, while Endless, about brothers, which they starred in, returning to a UFO cult they escaped from years before, premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival to strong notices. The Hollywood Reporter called it a rich banquet of mind-bending weirdness. So again, very Lovecraftian. Their latest was Synchronic, a sci-fi thriller that starred Anthony Mackie and James Dornan, and bowed at 2019's TIFF before being released last year. The duo also produced Amy Seimetz's psychological thriller She Dies Tomorrow, which Neon released in 2020. So there you go. I mean, look, I still think this is positive, but you know, the fact that they're not front running it is a bit of a letdown for me personally, because I think they're really decent. Yeah, I think they're really good. So semi-hopeful, I guess you could say. Semi-hopeful, yeah, we'll say semi-hopeful. But let me know your thoughts down below. At the end of the day, it's Marvel. They're not going to be able to flex, and they're not writing it either, but they're not going to be able to flex all of their creative talent with Marvel, which is a shame. But I hope, this is the key here, right, as I hope this leads to bigger and better things for them, personally. I hope they get the chance to direct bigger things as a result of working with Marvel. That's what I want for them, because they have proved themselves. They're really good. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Thanks so much. Take care.